B2B e-commerce platform Moglix has invested $50 million in its supply chain finance platform Credlix. Now, the fresh funds will help Credlix expand into the US and Mexico markets, empowering manufacturing and infrastructure businesses to transform their supply chains from procurement to distribution. Moglix currently supports over 1,000 large manufacturers and 3,000 plus factories with a valuation of $2.6 billion. And to elaborate more on Moglix's future roadmap, joining me now is its founder and CEO Rahul Garg. Also with me, my colleague Arundathi. Rahul, welcome to Startup Street. Like I mentioned, the fresh funds raised will be used to expand Credlix's presence in the US and the Mexico. Credlix provides fast collateral-free financing solutions to foster business growth. Tell us, how does this expansion align with Credlix's broader vision, which is basically, how does this expansion help you kind of impact to make in these markets? What is the current footprint in these markets and the kind of impact you hope to make in the future?
So fantastic. Thanks for having us. And I think a very interesting start to the news bite today on quick commerce. So,
yes.
So obviously the commerce world is continuing to move with the customer convenience at the forefront of how they are thinking about delivery and how they are thinking about convenience. So Credlix started with a simple mission that we want to enable global trade finance to become seamless, to provide MSMEs in India and across the world access to financing when they need it for working capital, both in country and cross-border. Over the last 3 years, Credlix has already been financing from India the trade supply chains to more than 50 countries. Now, we realize as part of that learning that many of our customers, which might be present in US, Europe, many of the developed markets, they also have supply chains running parallelly from some of the other emerging economies. Mexico became one of the prominent ones because if you look at it, last year, Mexico became the largest supply chain partner to US ahead of China. And with the entire theme that is running today on finding alternate supply chain sources to China, we found India and Mexico as very sweet emerging economies, which play both to nearshore and India shoring.
Absolutely.
From a supply chain perspective.
Absolutely, Rahul. Arundathi just quickly jumping in at this point, but if you could sort of, take us through your offerings, how do you plan to provide businesses in both US and Mexico, a stable supply chain and diversified sourcing options, as well as quicker access to quality goods, right? So what kind of challenges are they currently facing?
So the interesting thing is we already have those customers running from our India to US supply chain. And those customers are already sourcing from Mexico, and they want those Mexico suppliers to continue to multiply the supply to those countries in a faster manner without having a restriction of supply chain financing. And that's what Credlix is exactly filling in as a gap for Mexico suppliers who are supplying to US, our own customers of Credlix from India to US, access to this financing at a faster pace. And I think this is a start of something which can become much, much larger than we would envision.
All right. Rahul, you've also addressed a very critical pain point in the B2B business. In August this year, you brought quick commerce to B2B by launching next day delivery service. I believe it's live in 12 major cities, and you're now looking at 40 cities by next year. So tell us, what is the kind of demand you've seen so far? How has it changed your revenues, and are you on track?
So I think it is very interesting because B2B has been like 7 to 8 years behind the B2C commerce in general. But we have always taken a lead and front loading. I think this experiment is going very successfully. We are present across 40 cities already. So our ability to launch is not constrained by our footprint in those cities. We could launch 40 cities in 1 month if we want to. But I think we wanted to experiment very interesting thing. You spoke about what is the assortment mix, what is the delivery time, and then what is the impact of the cost of those faster deliveries. So I think the key thing to understand is B2B customers are far more sensitive to the pricing than a B2C customer who might be willing to pay for the impulse buying. And that's, I think, what we are experimenting in terms of, does the faster delivery and the additional cost that it may entail, are the B2B buyers willing to pay for it? And I think only next few months of experiment will tell us, are the customers ready to jump on the complete quick commerce bandwagon in the B2B as well?
Absolutely. So it's going to take a little bit to figure out that part of the business. But, if you could quickly give us a sense of your current business growth numbers, what's your top line looking like? And what do you anticipate the revenue mix to be going forward? And, how far is profitability?
So I think we continue to grow healthy as a company. I think last year, I think it was an interesting year for all startups and ecosystem because there is a healthy balance of growth and profitability. We are well on a trajectory. I think in the next 6 to 9 months, we should cross the break-even point. So anytime in the start of the next fiscal year, we'll be break-even positive. And in terms of growth, we continue to grow. We are also investing in a lot of capabilities as an organization, whether it is in terms of the distribution strength, logistics strength, or manufacturing.
To go one final question, picking up from what you just said, I believe you also have plans to go deep into manufacturing now. Elaborate on these plans. What are you looking at manufacturing, and what will be the rollout timeline, and what will be the tech edge for the products that you're now looking to manufacture?
So I think we have realized that we do 150 categories of products. We almost do million SKUs. Now we have realized that many of the categories, many of the products, there is no reliable supply that exists. And that is where we are trying to go from unorganized manufacturing base to an organized manufacturing base, wherever that manufacturing base is missing. There are categories that we are clearly exploring and building on. I think in the next few months, you'll hear more about the categories we have entered manufacturing. But there are at least 5 categories we are looking at actively in terms of expanding our manufacturing base.
So 5 new categories that you're looking at for expanding your manufacturing capabilities. But Rahul, thank you so much for joining us on the show today, and we wish you all the best on this journey going forward.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having us.